Mehmed the Conqueror was a fearsome ruler that transformed the Ottoman Empire with his ambitious war plans and by inflicting terror throughout his campaigns to the east. Europeans in the West were terrified of this Ottoman ruler and subsequently celebrated his death. Stick around to learn more about this Sultan and the many ways he destroyed his enemies in this video of A Day in History. Mehmed II was the Ottoman Sultan. Sultan meaning a Muslim ruler, mainly from 1451 to 1481. He was born on March 30th, 1432, the son of the previous Sultan Murad II. Once Mehmed's father passed away due to illness during the winter of 1450 to 1451, Mehmed II began his ascent to the throne. Mehmed II's reign began with the death of his baby brother. According to some sources, the new Sultan had his baby brother drowned to avoid any further power struggles. Fratricide is the act of killing one's brother or sister. Mehmed II encouraged his sons to assassinate their brothers in order to maintain their power. Mehmed II's proclamation stated, "Any of my sons who ascend to the throne, it is acceptable for him to kill his brother for the common benefit of the people. The majority of the ulama have approved this. Let action be taken accordingly." Subsequent rulers used his words to inflict fratricide upon their siblings. A later sultan, Mehmed III, used this idea to murder his 19 brothers in order to gain the throne. Mehmed II was responsible for the sieging of Constantinople, Moldavia, Albania, and the rest of Anatolia. With his conquest of Constantinople, he viewed himself as the continuation of the Roman Empire and not a replacer of it, although the other European bodies at the time did not view him in the same way. There has always been a struggle between Islam and Christianity within Europe and its borders. The Ottoman Empire under Mehmed II was determined to spread its influence within Europe. The European entities at the time were terrified of the idea of the Islamization of its people. The Catholic Church was also wary, as its power came with the popularity of Christianity. The need for the conquest of Constantinople was part of Islam, the Muslim religion. The Muslim prophet Muhammad supposedly stated that, "One day Constantinople will be conquered. Great is the commander who will conquer it, great are his soldiers." As a Muslim head of state, Mehmed II accomplished what other Muslim leaders could not. This and other campaigns cemented his place among the great leaders of history. Mehmed II was more aggressive than his father, as he craved war and did not mind engaging in warfare often. Every campaign he waged and won resulted in the plundering of those areas. The European territories that bordered Anatolia feared they would be invaded by Mehmed. He was determined to push west and even go as far as to venture into Italy. Since Mehmed saw himself as the continuation of the Roman Empire, the region of Italy was his ultimate goal in ruling as a self-proclaimed Roman emperor. When Mehmed ascended to the throne, he wanted to strengthen his navy and presence within the area around Constantinople. He began by continuing the construction of a fortress north of the city named the Rumeli Hisari, or Throat Cutter Castle. This was important as it was a way for the Ottomans to cut off the city from any potential help that might arrive from the Bosphorus Strait. It was strategically placed at the narrowest point of the strait and across another Ottoman fortress, the Anadolu Hisari. Mehmed now had full control of the strait and determined who was allowed to travel through it. On one occasion, a Venetian ship was passing through the strait and, having ignored the warnings given by the Ottomans, it was shot down using a cannon. The Venetian sailors were apprehended and brutally beheaded. The captain had a special punishment. He was impaled and mounted upon the fortress to serve as a warning to future sailors not to ignore the orders of the Ottoman forces and Mehmed II. In 1463, Mehmed II waged a war on the Kingdom of Bosnia. Stephen II was the ruler of Bosnia at the time and refused to send tributaries to the Ottomans, as he believed at least one other European power would come to his assistance. The Ottomans and Mehmed were outraged and prepped to invade Bosnia. The invasion was quick and the fortresses fell with ease. Within days, the city of Bobovac had fallen, even though the ruler had guessed it would take a total of 2 years for it to fall. Stephen II was eventually captured by the Ottomans and brought to Mehmed. In some accounts, Mehmed himself beheaded the Bosnian ruler, while in others, Stephen II was skinned alive or used as target practice. Mehmed II had no intention of sparing the life of this ruler, which further added to his reputation within the European region. The siege of Negroponte was fought during the Ottoman-Venetian War and was a particularly brutal instance of carnage under Mehmed II. The siege took place in modern-day Chalkis, a town in Greece, and resulted in Ottoman victory. Since the town had refused to surrender, the city was looted and pillaged. Ottoman troops had 3 days to strip the city. The Christian men were murdered, the women and children were enslaved, and the soldiers were executed. There were only 30 survivors of the assault that made it back to Venice. Allegedly, the commander of the Venetian forces was sawed in half. It is important to remember that these accounts may have been exaggerated as a way to provide a greater sense of urgency to the other European powers. Although it can be certain that plundering a town is never in the interest of the people living there. Wallachia was a historical region in present-day Romania. The Ottomans had always wanted to impose their rule upon the region, as it was a buffer between the Hungarian territories and the Islamic East. Once Constantinople was conquered, the Ottomans demanded a tribute of 10,000 ducats and 500 warriors to the Ottomans. The Ottomans sent envoys to Wallachia to gather tribute from the ruler at the time, Vlad the Impaler. Vlad III refused to send tribute and was insulted by the Ottomans' envoys' refusal to raise their hats to him, since the Ottomans believed they should only take off their headpieces before God. With this betrayal in the eyes of Vlad, he had them killed by nailing their headpieces to their heads. After subsequent campaigns against Vlad, Wallachia was left to an Ottoman-backed ruler, Radu the Handsome, and the Ottomans were successful. Mehmed had his general Turahanoglu Omer Bey bring 2,000 Wallachian soldiers' heads to his feet and had a total of 6,000 Wallachians wiped out. A common tactic was to raid territories and weaken the enemy before a full-blown invasion, as was seen with the invasion of Albania. The siege of Shkodra in 1478 led to the full Ottoman takeover of Albania. Mehmed II had starved the city into submission, and they were eventually forced to sign a treaty since the citizens had resorted to eating mice and rats. Mehmed II died on May 3, 1481, at the beginning of a military campaign, possibly against the Mamluk Empire or in an attempt to capture Rhodes. His death is shrouded in mystery, as there is circumstantial evidence that his eldest son and heir, Bayezid, had his father poisoned, although it is also possible his health had declined. Mehmed's death was celebrated across the European lands, with church bells ringing and celebrations held. Especially in Venice, the people rejoiced and shouted, "La grande aquila è morta," or "The great eagle is dead," since Mehmed had always posed a major threat to Italy. Mehmed II helped build up Constantinople after its conquest into a thriving and bountiful city of the Ottoman Empire. Constantinople is still within the former Ottoman territory, now Turkey, and that was due to Mehmed II. His campaigns in Europe pushed forward the Islamization of some areas of Europe, like Albania. To this day, the Muslim religion continues to exist in these regions, and that is the result of the Ottomans' focus on the West. Mehmed is still celebrated to this day in Turkey, and his tomb is on display in the Faith Mosque in Istanbul, modern-day Constantinople. Well, that's all we have today, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That would make you smarter than the enemies that dared oppose Mehmed.